Hello, hello, hello. Don't know if anyone's here yet. Kathy was keeping you all occupied while you were waiting for me. There's Mindy. Hello, Tracy. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Trying to get my chair comfy here. I know it looks blurry, but that's because my trees are blurry on purpose. Okie dokie. Hello, Zoe. Eileen. Hello, hello. Hi, Joan. Nice to see you. Oh, yes, right. I was going to open up, one moment, my blog. Let me get another tab open. Okay. Hello, Sharon. Hi, Vaughn. Hey, Kathy. Thanks for entertaining everyone while I was going here. All right, let me get my Manicam back. And let me do a box here that will allow me to show my blog. There we go. Okay. Hey, Star. Okay. So, as you can see, first thing I'm going to do today is finish up my painting of this is one of those lens, what do they call them? Lens balls or whatever. It's like a crystal ball. But it's the in thing now for photographers to use these to take interesting photos. Hello, Josie. Hi, Debbie. Now, just before I get started, I want to go through a couple things on my blog here. Hopefully, you guys should be able to see my blog. Now, so on the most recent posting on my blog, I have or part of any of them and wish to go back, you can go to my blog and play them from there. And anyone who's monetized, from what I understand on my research, if you're monetized, you still get credit, I believe, for the viewings. Okay, even though they're viewing on my blog. But I figured it would save people from having to go from each person's stream to kind of see these. So that works. Then the next thing is this little calendar here project, which is my project from my New Year's Eve stream. You can find the download on my Streamathon 2018-2019 project. Reading on Ustream, it was easier to hit record once we had everyone in chat and everything was ready to go. Then we could hit record. So then I could do my greeting then. So now these days, it seems like I always forget to do my greeting. Anyway, so just a second. I should go back at least to my hands. So welcome to Music Scrap, the musical scrapper. It is a beautiful, sunny, but very cold day here on the east coast of Canada. We're supposed to get some flurries later on today. Just a few centimeters of snow, nothing too bad. But anyway, we had a bit of a storm on New Year's Day, left several inches of snow. But anyway, it is a new year and we're ready to go. Now, as I was saying, oh, Judy, thank you so much. You noticed that I set up Super Chat. You are a sweetheart. Well, it's funny, Judy, because it shows as 2 above, but it shows as 20 down below it. That's weird. But thank you. Hey, Bren. Hey, Mandy J. Yeah, so, oh, thanks. It's down below where you enter chat, Kathy. See the $sign by the little logo thing? You can set it up in your I think it's the community settings where you find it. So, yeah, it's like a tip jar. Google takes, I don't know, what is it, 3% or something that Google takes for processing and whatever. Yeah, so. Hey, Norma, Beth, Leah, hello. So let me go back to the correct scene here. Okay, so some of the instructions are there. Of course, I go through it on my New Year's Eve stream. Now remember, it's printed for 2-page signatures, okay? And so each page that prints cuts in half and then becomes a signature. So if you want to do it as more pages, you'd have to read the way it's printing. So, because it prints back to back. All right, and then, of course, for those of you who may be new, if you go over here to my, sorry, I'm going fast and probably making some people very dizzy. If you go over here to 20 and May, if you have a cutting machine, so any silhouette machine, a curio, a cameo, or a portrait, or the newer Cricut machines that allow you to cut digital files, or I think it was Kathy. Kathy, it's you that has a Pizzazzle or something. They also, so I've got, I think, 88 digital files here that you can cut for stencils or background. You get the studio silhouette file, plus you get a JPEG file, an SVG file, and a PNG file, and a DFX file, because some digital desktop cutters use a DFX file. So you can resize them any size you want when you cut them. Okay? They're yours for keeps. You can... All right, on to some work here. Oh, 30%? They take 30%, Debbie? Oh, I guess I didn't read that closely enough. Yikes. Well, maybe I'll... Ooh. Well, oh, you're welcome, Norma. I might remove that. I might remove the tip jar then, or the super chat. Google's too rich to be taking 30% of people's money who are trying to be kind. Ugh. Maybe I'll just put my PayPal email down in yeah. Set up a PayPal. I think I already have a PayPal tip jar, or I went to set it up once. I don't know if I finished. I'm going to have to look at that. Judy, hover over the video and click the live button. Ever since I came back, oh no, did it start before Christmas? No. Ever since I came back from Christmas vacation, Google Chrome has been horrible for me. I have to clear my cache every 10 minutes in order to stop the buffering. Now, it works. It's just a pain in the butt. The first time I see a buffer, I go up and I clear the browsing data. It seems time it gets past 200 megabytes of downloaded data, it starts buffering. So I have to remember. Now, New Year's Eve, I went and I watched through Safari, and Safari had no buffering at all. But my problem with Safari is, first of all, I know it's an Apple product, but it's a crap browser. It is horrible. It's slow. It's icky. I use it on my iPad. It's fine on my iPad. I have no problem with Safari on my iPad. But on the computer, it's terrible. And doing mod powers, every time I have to try and click in the chat in Safari to remove a comment or whatever, or boot a troll, it is slow as heck on Safari for it won't click, and oh, it's a pain in the patootie. So watch, okay, but chat's not so great. Although I did not try pop-out chat on Safari. So if you are a Mac computer person and you're watching on a Mac laptop or iMac, and Chrome's giving you a pain in the patootie for watching, try Safari. Try pop-out chat. Safari, I got no buffering from anyone on Safari. But Chrome was a pain in the butt. So anyway, I can't stream from Chrome or from Safari because they won't let me choose my external microphone anyway. Oh, I don't even have Edge. Oh, you have Chrome because you have a Chromebook. Okay, so Judy, you may just have to clear your browsing data every 10 minutes. Every time you get a buffer, just go in and clear your browsing data, and it should solve the issue for another 10 or 15 minutes. So, hey, Janet. Oh, yeah, well, I won't be doing Edge then if it's Microsoft. Ugh. Okay, so I am going to continue working on my first piece of art here. I know people wanted, let me show you up closer. People wanted to see me paint the globe. So I decided I would wait until today to do it. They wanted to see me paint the bulb there. Wait a minute. What happened to my one moment, please? This one is supposed to have the file in here, but for some reason it disappeared. Let me put it back in there. Oops, sorry, grabbed the wrong thing. Come on. There we go. Now, I am going to, hey, Dee Dee, just getting organized here to start my painting. Okay, so, righty-o. I am going to open it on my iPad, and I'm going to work on so that this is a little closer to my eyes. So I'm going to go into my iPad, and I'm going to rotate the image so that it's upside down to me, so that I can work on it upside down. So now it's upside down. Now I can work on it. Alrighty-o. So I think first I want to, I got my really cool new set of brushes that I will demo later, but I'm going to use one of them for this kind of crystally rock that this globe is sitting on. I'm going to use one of the kind of stippling brushes that they have included. So it's a round brush with short round bristles. For this part, hey B3, hey LA. LA is Linda Sutton. Linda Army Mom was her name on Ustream, so Linda Army is LA. So that's why I call her LA, for those of you who are new. All right, so the crystally rock is going to be, that's still a little, one moment, please. It's still a little greeny. I do not always do a very good job of remembering to go back and cleaning my brushes. All right, so I'm going to use burnt umber. All right. I'm using my Shinhan colors here. And I want it fairly watered down for my first go around, because I want to get the light parts first. And I could probably still use even more. So I'm doing wet on dry. Oh, sorry, what? Jean. Oh, sorry, hold on. Sorry, there you go. I apologize, thank you. Still too dark, so before it gets very dry, I'm going in and lifting. I know, I know. Hey, Maxie. All right. I'm trying to do them in kind of lines to a point. Although for this first layer, it doesn't matter as much because the next layers will build up the actual. This is just going to give the lighter undertones. So these brushes are called, good question. I looked it up last night. Do you think my brain can remember? Never mind. I need to zoom in on the because I can't read it. Creative Mark is the registered name. FX Effects Brush. FX Effects Brush by Creative Mark. Oops. Okay, need to dry that. Heat gun. Look at my chat. Is that still from when I was off the screen, Norma? Or did I miss something else? All right, so now I need a slightly thicker version of the burnt umber, and I need to put a little bit of my neutral tint in with it. Just still need a little water, but not as much as last time. The neutral tint will darken and neutralize the burnt umber, but it will still give a nice hue. A nice bit of that, little bit of that burnt umber will show through. Oh, that's not my neutral tint, Jean. A moment, please. I forgot I'm in my new. That's where my neutral tint used to be. It was a purple I just grabbed. Although that may have darkened it, not the way I wanted. Okay. So burnt umber. Neutral tint is down here on the end. They call it neutral black. Shinhan. All right. So I'm going to go in with my number 4 silver black velvet. Oh, okay, Norma. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something else because I have a tendency to miss things. Oh, yes, and Janet is launching her really fun scavenger hunt on Monday. So that'll be fun. Oh, sorry, trying to get zoomed in on this kind of crystal rock thingy. Wonder if, let's see, how much, there are 3 of those. I don't think that's the smallest one. Yeah, this one's a little smaller. I'm going to try this smaller, even, still stippling brush for the shadow. Kind of cool. So you can fill it in a little or a lot, getting some really cool shapes. I'll hold it up closer there. So you can get some really cool rounded shapes. Oh, Judy, hugs. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. So bee paper, that's that white sketch roll you were showing when I came in, huh, Kathy? That's kind of cool, actually. So I'm just going in and deepening a couple of spots. Give even a little bit more texture. I think I need to go in and do one more layer of just the burnt umber. Just trying to draw shapes. Looking at shapes, not looking at the large picture. Hey, joie de vie. Hello, hello, also known as Joey. I like to call her joie de vie because it sounds so much more romantic. To say it in the French. Well, as close to French as I can get anyway. Not bad. It's over here. Okay. It's a little bit over here. Just adding texture, getting a few little dark spots in here. I want them subtle. So that's why I'm dabbing back off. Just letting it stain the paper kind of thing. So it's real shadows. Okay. And we need that to dry before I remove the masking fluid off the globe. No difference at all. Oh, top chat. The only difference between top chat and live chat is if the streamer has the setting to hide spam, potential spam and whatever. I don't have those boxes checked. So I'm just using whatever YouTube has set as what they call spam and whatever. So there's, in my stream, there's no difference between the live chat and the top chat. The only streamers where that will make a difference is if they have checked off in their settings to check chat and have certain things. The only one I checked off was I put in a couple of words that I don't want mentioned in my chat. And so those will be held for review. But that's going to show in live chat and top chat. So, yeah, I haven't seen a difference. Yeah, that's right, Joycey, but only if, from what I understand and from what I've seen in any chat where I've been moderator, yeah, and necessarily it's only going to make a difference, I guess, for moderators, but I haven't seen any difference. It's only if I saw a difference in Lindsay's, because Lindsay is doing her, Lindsay Wyrick, the Frugal Crafter. She does hers for money purposes, and I think she has all of those spam things set. And so then there is a difference between live chat and top chat in hers if spam comes up, right? I don't have a high, I mean, I have 1,500 memberships. The only people who are going to get huge spam possibly happening are going to be those people like Gina K Designs and all of those people that have 100,000 viewers. anyone who's going to seriously spam trying to sell something or throw a virus in are people who are, they're going to target those people that have 100,000 viewers or 10,000 viewers of the stream. They're not going to target me. It's not worth their time. All right, so now I'm going to remove this, but I am going to be replacing some of it. I think. Maybe I'll just paint around it. There's only 3 things. There's only 3 words I have on the list, Lena. Kathy. Yay, Eileen's getting her Shinhan today. Ooh, what's supposed to arrive today for me? Oh, I know. I'm going to check something. Pardon the, fast forward a minute or two. I'm just going to check something through Amazon here. Usually my Amazon orders arrive by now. Orders. Don't they say on the way? Who are they coming through? Oh, they don't say out for delivery, though. Oh, Canada Post. Oh, they won't be here today. It didn't show up in... Oh. It just showed that it arrived in Dieppe at 10 a.m. So it won't be arriving today because I won't make the bus. Well, dang it. I'm getting we found some of Dad's slides. So I ordered a slide scanner, and my cousin has a whole bunch of slides from her dad. So, and then once we do all the slides, then I'll sell it again on Kijiji. Hey, Carol. Oh, I see Oklahoma. Oh, dear. Oh, I don't even have live chat put up on my own. Maybe I should. There we go. Yes, Debbie, that is one word. And a certain word, name of a certain American president, because I don't want any political talk in my stream. Nobody talks about their Canadian prime minister. So I didn't have to put his name on the list. Okay. All right. So now what I need to do here, because I had the masking fluid there, I just need to go in and add a little bit of, by the way, these brushes, I had to clean them in with some warm water and dish soap. Don't want to use hot water because you can release the glue. But in order to get oh, yeah, no, Mindy. No, as you can see, that showed up. You guys can talk about it all you want. I just won't be doing it. Just so you know. I did it when I did my universe canvas at my paint night, but only because I had to teach them. I suffer for my art, my teaching. So I'm going to go back in and do another layer just to up the texture a little bit here. In the end, I may have to go in with some white if I don't leave enough of the white behind. Okay. Hey, Lucy. Well, this one that I ordered, the nice thing about the one that I ordered, it will actually scan, it actually has an internal hard drive, or it will scan directly to a SD card. And I will likely be able to get at least half of it back on Kijiji. So the half price that I'm not going to get back on Kijiji is likely less than what it would have cost me to send them out and get it done. So, and I love doing it. I love technology. I love doing it. So I wanted to do it. Plus, the thing is, I didn't want to pay, like some of them are quite faded. So there's going to be some that aren't even going to be, you know, worth doing. So anyway, whatever. That's just the way I wanted to do it. And for my cousin too, it'll be fun for her to go through all the, you know, to do it. So she has a lot more than me to do. So okay, so next up, back to the cerulean blue for the background of this. And except for the parts, of course, that are going to be left as white. So I'm just pre-wetting it so that I get a nice little bit of flow on the I think I'll go in with my smaller one just because I'm May have to put that shine back in. Yellow, only the very center part of it is white. All right, so now I need to go in with a little neutral tint into that. All right, I need to turn this back upside right, I think. My viewing one, that is. All right. And I need a little bit of cerulean blue again. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. Hold on. So one thing that I find very much more difficult to do on, like, this is Fabriano Studio, which is 25% cotton, but 75% cellulose. And one thing that's much more difficult is this blending out without getting blooming. Mostly because your paper doesn't stay wet as long. And they don't move quick enough to get it done properly. without leaving behind more marks than I want to do. Okay, Lucy, no problem. I will. Wait, now, who did you see in? Oh. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, May. See, it's much more difficult to do this blending thing here because it is much more difficult to get softening things going here. All right. Of course, I did great paintings using this before I switched to the 100% cotton. It was just a lot more work. All right, so now I need to go back in with my green. So I need to get a little more of my shading green here. Mixed in. Okay. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of the neutral tint blue that I made in with that just to darken it just a little bit. So it'll have a little green and a little blue. Debbie. It's about the shape and edges. Like I said, I'm having to work a little bit more on this paper than I do on my 100%. But like I said, my first marble one and all that. All right. So I'm going to dry that because I don't want to ruin what I have already. Now I have to try and get the crystal effects on. So for that, I'm going to use my white. Thanks, Norma. Oh, no problem, Norma. Go ahead. Real life. I know. Real life. You're probably still busy with the leftovers of your holiday business, so oh no, oh Lena, sorry, I should have made that more clear. You click just to clear. Sorry about that. Just clear your memory and what is it? Hold on. One moment. When you go clear browsing data, make sure only cached images and files is checked. I apologize. I should have made that. Cached images and files is all you have to clear because that's what's causing the the slowdown. Oops. Welcome back, Zoe. Exciting. Congratulations. Okay, so I've got my, before I do my white, I need to do because there's frost. If you look closely, let me take you over to the larger picture. If you look closely, there are like water drops and kind of frozen crystal on most of this part, except up here where the glow is, because where the sun is shining, obviously it has melted the frost. So we've got frost on the rest of it, which I have to put on. So I am going to add a very faint, pretty warm yellow. So I'm going to use my what's it called? Hold on. Hold the boat. Need to get my color chart here. This is my Cad Yellow Deep or Permanent Yellow Deep. Ooh, which is better? I think I'm going to do the Permanent Yellow Deep. Darker, a little more golden than the Cad Yellow Deep. Quick change of mind, which I'm allowed to do because I am the artist. All right. Permanent Yellow Deep. Oh, and I took way too much off. All right. So I'm going to have a clean part of my tissue ready to blot because I basically just want to stain the paper. may have to add a little bit of white back into that because I think I went a little too far. And just a tad of the sun is kind of shining on this side. So just a bit of yellow there. Okay. All right, so I need to, I'm going to go into this one that was blue and clean it. Make sure it really cleaned out because I'm going to put my white in there. I grabbed this instead of my white, but it should work. My Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white. Oh, sorry, Bren, it's a warm yellow. Definitely don't. The only time you ever want to use, the only time I use yellow for sunlight is as a base to help the glow under a warm yellow. So I also use lemon yellow as the glow under reds and oranges and even greens. So if I'm doing glass and I need a glow, I use lemon yellow as my base under reds, oranges, and greens, and under warm yellows to get that glow. So even though you cover it over with the other layers, that glow from the lemon yellow comes through. All right, so hold on. Before I use this for my good brushes, is this acrylic based? Who can answer this question for me? Is this acrylic based or watercolor based before I put my good brushes in it? Okay, never mind. I'm going to get my Shinhan white. One moment, please. Oh, I just grabbed that one first. I'll get my Shinhan white gouache because I know it's water-based. Okay, watercolor gouache, the Shinhan. Fortunately, I didn't have room on my palette for it because I have 33 paint colors of Shinhan, so I have to kind of use it separately. Oh, it says it has zinc sulfate. Thank you, Bran. I definitely don't want to use it on my good brushes then. Okie dokie. No problem. That was an easy fix. Just take some of my Shinhan gouache, which I really like. I try not to use white, but in this small of a painting, it's really tricky not to use white. It's so small for me and my bad eyes. All right, now the other thing I need to do is to feather out these beams a little bit. So I just need to add a little bit of green back in because they're a little icky shaped. Okay. So now the other thing I need to do with this white is just to add the texture here. So I don't want it to be completely opaque. So I'm going to spritz it with some water. And I'm going to use one of my I'm going to use my old rake brush, my original rake brush that I have from art. Where's it from? One moment, I need to go back to my magnifying app here so I can tell you this first rake brush that I was using before. I bought on Amazon. It was just a one piece. It was an add-on. Oh yeah, Donna Dewberry. Shenzhen, China. So it's a Donna Dewberry 1/2-inch rake is what I got here. So Donna Dewberry. A lot of you remember her. Oh my gosh, Eileen is just making everyone. Hey, Dar. Eileen is determined to bankrupt everyone today. All right, so I'm going in now with my rake brush and my white gouache watered down to put in my frost strokes here. And you have to go rounded because the frost is shape of the crystal ball. Now, I'm not sure why, but the way they photograph this is strange. Usually these crystal balls, so maybe this is actually a bubble, but even a bubble should. I don't know why this isn't upside down in the crystal ball. Because normally, and I'm not going to try and duplicate every single stroke. I just want to put an essence of frost on that, except for this area here above the sunshine that has kind of been melted. Now, the other thing I want to do with my white is I'm going to go in again with my little stippling specialty effects brush here, pick up some white, and I'm going to go into my white, and then I'm going to, up here, I'm going to dab it off like you would if you were stenciling, especially since it's a little bit watered down. And I'm going to add some crystals of nice white. Or crystal surface that this is sitting on. It's all frosty. Oh, no, Joan, really? Ha! I guess you have to be a little more specific. You should have included an Amazon link. Especially near the top. Okay, now the one other thing I need to do is to kind of add my little water drops. So to do that, I need this dark that I made. I'm not going to do all the ones that I see, but so I'm just going to add a few different size. Hopefully this will. The way I want it to. Okay, now I'm going to go back, take some of that color off, because obviously I just want a darker spot. I don't want it to some are larger than the others. And then I need to dry it, go back in with little dabs of white to make it look like a water condensation or dew, whatever you want to call it. Oops. Oh, sorry. I apologize. That was probably loud. I just bumped my little R2D2 microphone. Heat gun. All right, so now what I have to do is go in and get, I think I'm going to get a very fine detail brush here for this part. A teeny tiny brush is what I need. All right, because I need to go in and get. So this is a Da Vinci 00. Hold on. Need my magnifying app again. Thank goodness for my magnifying app. Where's my camera, Jean? Hold on. What size Da Vinci is this? Oh, there it is. Oh, it is quintuple 0 Da Vinci. Quintuple 0. I thought that was a 5. It is a quintuple 0. So yes, very, very tiny. So when I'm using these detail brushes, I go in, but then I paint it off. I may need to get some thick right out of the jar, but we'll see if I can get it thick enough to do this. Okay. So now I'm just going to go in and put a pinpoint of white back into those dark spots. And I think I have to go in and get some straight out of the jar because it's not thick enough what I watered down. One moment. I actually should have mixed it. It's all separated. Actually, I can probably take it right off this skewer that I mixed it with. All right, so now I'm brushing it onto my plate so I don't get blobs. So I still have a controlled point. Twirl your brush. Okay. Well, that's like too small. I'll just be very careful with the tip of my number 4. Don't think my brush was wet enough. It doesn't want to release my paint. So let's try that again. There we go. All right. I think I'm finished. You can see my little condensation there. What makes the M-gram better, Vaughn? The thing I like best about the M-gram, now there may be others that do this as well, but not in my collection. For me, in a lot of ways, the Shinhan PWC, the premium, and the M-gram are close. I have some Shinhan colors that I like better than the M-grams. The M-grams re-wet so well. They're so easy to get the pigments wet. They're easy to get the pigment onto your brush. They're very easy to mix. That's the thing I like about them. The Shinhan PWC aren't too bad as far as re-wetting. Takes a little longer. They're not quite, they do dry, but once you wet them, it doesn't take that long. They're much better than most of other ones that I've tried. They're better than Daniel Smith for re-wetting. I only have a few of the Daniel Smith, but they don't re-wet as easily as my Shinhan. Thanks, Joan. Now, I think I do have something else here. Hey, Adidal. Oh, to the Sennelier. No, I have a couple of Sennelier that, who sent me? No, it wasn't Jillian. There was someone who hasn't been around in a while. Canadian. Wasn't Kathy Arbor who sent them. Who am I thinking? Oh, really? Debbie, they lift easily even when you dry your layer really well? Thanks, Bren. Okay, so there's my January picture for my calendar. All right, so what I was going to do next was well, I do have to finish my journal, but I'll do that off screen because that means I have to finish making my Wanderlust journal. I have the journal made, but I don't have all the pages in. And I have to put, I'm going to put, oops, let me zoom out a little bit here. Let me go back to here. Hold on. Let me zoom out a little. I'm going to redo my cover. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just totally get a new paper and restamp it again. I don't like that. So I just may put a new paper on it. But for you're using the, yeah, well, I bought a small and Reevely album. I bought the small one and then I thought, oh, you know, they wanted dividers and all this stuff. So I made dividers for each month, put in a couple of plastic pockets for like works in progress or whatever. But I didn't get all my pages. I don't know why I closed it without getting all my papers. I did it on screen. Oh, I think it was because I was showing everybody how to use the cinch. And so I kind of finished that last step without putting all my pages in. So I have to open the rings and put the rest of my pages in my binder. But I want to show you guys the one flower that I did. Hold on. I took this book home with me. And I took home my I've started Dee Dee's kitchen set. I grabbed this journal thinking it had watercolor paper in it. I was just packing and I was like, oh, I made this with watercolor paper. So I just grabbed it without even checking. And I put this together. I bought a new pencil case because I bought the set of graphite tint. Okay. The 24 set of tinted graphite by Derwent. So then I thought, oh, and I need to put in here because I forgot, I didn't have it at home. In here, I need to put, I only have a couple of these. So I know I have more somewhere. I don't know where they are, but these are the only two I have right really near me. I want to put these in here too. Anyway, hey Judy, you're still at Walmart. Okay. Oh yeah, I can take it apart and refix it. Oh yeah, it's no problem. So then I thought, well, if I'm going to kind of make this watercolor pencils, I also and my drawing. So I put my regular graphite, my drawing pencils in here. I have a water brush. I have an eraser. This is a Derwent sketching charcoal. Some of these are charcoal. No, it's a sketching pencil. It doesn't say what it is. It's light something. Light work HB. says made in England. I have this set Norma sent to me. So there's some are graphite and these 3 are charcoal. And so then I put my Inktense pencils in here, and I put my Derwent metallic watercolor pencils and my Derwent watercolor pencils. So I have my watercolor pencils, my metallic watercolors. These once you wet them, they're not really metallic, but they still have a nice pigment to them. But they kind of turn, they don't stay metallic once you wet them. And then of course my Inktense. And I have all my charts. These are my Derwent watercolor pencils, so that has to go in here. Woo! This is my Inktense pencils. That goes there. Anyway, so I didn't chart these yet. So I need to do a chart with my graphitint. So I did the rows, and then when I started wetting, all right, what did I do with the journal? Is that what just fell? Yes. One moment, please. So I did the rows, and then when I started wetting it, I realized I didn't have watercolor paper. I had cardstock, and I absolutely hate using watercolor on anything but watercolor paper. So there's my rows, drawn with the graphitint. Yes, Adidal Derwent is a really nice brand. I like all their pencils. Well, I have their watercolor, of course, in there. Yes, Lena, I did that. I did that so that when I take out my 2 or 3 that I'm using for blending, I can find the spot where they go back. So I used my white gel pen to put the numbers on so that I keep them in the order that my chart is in. So if I do sketching of the flowers here, I'll just be using my Prismas to color them, not watercolor, because this is all, I know Dee Dee doesn't all, but it doesn't blend properly. You don't get the look you want, or I don't get the look I want. Anyway. Hi, Elaine. Nice to see you. So, yeah, I don't have any of Derwent's just regular color pencils because I have my Prismacolor, which I love. Love my Prismacolor. So at the end of my stream the other night, I started to show my journal because I was trying to fill in time. And we had quite a few people who were new to my channel who would not have seen me painting any of the things in my journal, even though most of them are on my site. Now, what I was going to do, I am not going to draw on screen, but I think most of you have seen this book because several people have flipped through it. But it's 10 steps to drying flowers. And I'll tell you, I mean, I've only done the rows so far. But, like, it was pretty easy and certainly easy. You know, it shows you the steps of going through how to get the rows. And I think I did a pretty decent job. Thanks. Thanks, Elaine. So whoever went through and broke down the process of drawing all these different kind of flowers did an excellent job. So I am going to work my way through this, but I'm not going to do it online because for me, when I'm drawing, I have to get things really up close. All you would see would be the back of my head. So Judy, oh my goodness, me laughing. Gosh. Are you saying I sound like a hyena laughing? She hears a dog. Oh, or is that Jean laughing? Very funny, very funny. Now, the other thing I had pulled out that I thought maybe I might try doing something, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just hand it over to Debbie. My voice is disappearing. My voice has still not, year and a half ago in May, I was sick for the whole month of May, 31 days of coughing and hacking with a very bad flu, upper respiratory virus flu. And I still don't have my voice back from that. So, so between that and my asthma, my voice is shot. So I have this also, which I want to work through. And I know Janet got it. And I think, was it Paula that got it first? I can't remember. So it starts off with the beginning doing washes and stuff like that. I'm pretty decent at washes. So, but I am not going to work in this book, although it feels a little better than, the paper in this book. As far as for watercoloring on, I think I'm just going to use tracing paper, trace it into a journal, and then like a watercolor journal, and then actually work on it in a watercolor journal. So I think I'm going to, I've got a large, my B paper watercolor journal that I bought is a large one. So I don't want to do little things like this in it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my B paper, my 140-pound B paper, and make a journal to work on these projects. And so I'll just like use tracing paper and then trace them into, they're not dark enough for me to use my light box. The original's not dark enough. It's not dark enough for me to use a light box and see it, to trace it. So the other book, yes, I will go through and show the other book because I know some of you wanted to see this book. So this is called the Watercolor Workshop. And Eileen's the reason I got this one. Okay, first warning is that the spine comes apart very easily. I opened it once and tried to lay it flat and it tore. But that's not really a big deal because I think that I'm actually going to take it apart anyway. I'm going to tear it apart and put it in. I have some small binders that I took from school that I may be able to hole punch and put them in or something. Because it's not going to lay flat. Well, this paper I'm probably not going to work in it anyway. Now, like what Debbie was saying with the book that she had the other night, it goes through all the basics. So it's great for a beginner because if you've never watercolored before, this book has every bit of information you would need to get started. From products, media, paint brushes, information about pigments. All right. Yeah, I'll use my heat gun and tear the glue off. definitely. Yeah, Bren. Yeah. Oh, it comes out. It actually comes out in signatures, even though it's glued, Bren. Oh, well, that's good. Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Okay. So tear that glue off. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. It's binding tape or whatever. Okay, and it explains the different kinds of watercolor paper. Explains setting up your palette. And I mean, it's a very thick book. So having all this information at the front is not taking away from other information and project things in the book. But it is a very good book for a beginner. So then they go through. Okay, hold on. I need to get my... This is another reason why I want to deconstruct the book, because then I'll be able to take each page and figure out what it says without... So they're setting you up. There's tips along here. Each pigment responds differently when painted. Doing swatch tests like this helps you know what to expect. Some pigments dry just as you paint them, while others can change, becoming spotty. So in other words, we're talking about granulation. Okay. Test your pigments on the following 5 spreads, starting with your green. Be sure to label your swatches as you paint. All right. Now, but you, as a beginner, if you're a beginner, also know that it's a good idea when you're first painting to swatch the colors you're going to use in your painting on a little extra piece of whatever watercolor paper you're going to use, because swatching it in here is not necessarily going to tell you what your paint's going to look like on every paper you're going to use it on. Even granulating stuff, it'll granulate more on, cold press than it will on hot press, or less on, it'll granulate more on this paper and less on this paper. And it's good for you to know that. All right. So there's lots of tips here as you go. Coat your pigments, spaces to spot. So, I mean, you can definitely, oh, how did that get in the way of my light suddenly? There. Okay. So, and now they go through and they explain the wet on dry technique, getting your pigment flowing. So hints on getting your pigment flowing, putting paint to paper. All right. Then they give you a place to test that with single color and with dual colors. Oh, sorry, Kathy. Watercolor Workshop by Sasha Prude. Forward by Stephen Heller. And Stephen Heller is an amazing painter. He actually has, he was one of the first watercolor artists that I looked. He has lots of, I think it's Artist Network. I think it's Artist Network TV that Stephen Heller has lots of videos on. So he's one of the artists that I learned a lot from him. So he did the forward. So learn to paint in 100 experiments. So this book has 100 experiments in it. All right. Different wet on wet. You can see here that she gets you mixing your different colors. Hey, Julie. Yes, I bought mine on Amazon as well. Okay, so lots of cool techniques here. Even though I'm going to go through and do a lot of them, even though I've done a lot of them before, you never know what you can learn. So here you're merging skills and ideas. So here you're building skills. Okay. You know, this kind of work not only teaches you about your pigments, but it teaches you about your brushes. How much water do your brushes hold? How much water do you need in your paint to get it flow? How much water do you not want? You know, sometimes there's different amounts of water in your paint depending on the technique. Sometimes you want your paint to be like cream. Sometimes you want it to be like whole milk. Sometimes you want it to be like skim milk. And sometimes if you want very little, you just want to tint your paper, you're going to make it like water, you know? So that's how I think. I can't even remember which artist gave me that. It was an artist I was watching. I did not come up with that. It was one of the artists I learned from. All right. So then she's doing different technical things here in working within a circle here. Yeah. So lots of cool, you know, and she gives you I might actually even scan this and then print it on some watercolor paper, although would be fairly easy to draw, but so there's lots of all right, and then merging. Oh, the first one, I said wet on wet, didn't I? The first one was wet on dry. Sorry, wet on dry, I said for the first one. Then she does wet on wet. Now this is merging skills and ideas for working wet on wet. Okay. And then what's the next section? So she does techniques, and then she does practical uses. Oh, so this is doing an ombre wash, okay? Going from one color, blending through and changing colors. All right, without a big line between, so that's an ombre. All right, so this is teaching ombre washes. And ombre can be just the same tone, going from dark to light, light to dark, but ombre can also be different colors. Okay. Yeah, Joyce, if I was going to use this for Neo 2, what I would do is I would turn my Neo 2s into watercolor by taking, I wonder if I have, what I would do, I wish I had, oh, wait a minute, I do. Hold on. Hold the fort. I do have something that will work for an example, so I can show you, dog. Okay. I used to use this. This is from the dollar store. So if you have a Dollar Tree nearby, it's just a cutting board, Joycey. It has paint all over it because I used to use it as before I started using this wood panel, I used to use this for my painting. But what I would do if I was going to use my Neo 2s, let me use a darker color. I don't know if Dee Dee's still here, but look, Dee Dee, look how happy my Neo Color 2s are in their home. This lovely homemade home. Let's use a dark green. So if I was going to use my 2s, Joycey, in this type of an activity book, what I would do, let me get a piece of paper. Here's a piece of watercolor paper. So what I would do is actually get one of these little cutting boards that has some kind of text, okay? All right. Then you just color on it and it'll take off some of your pigment. Then you take your brush. So this is now your palette. You wet your Neo color. Now it is paint. And then you do whatever your technique is. So if I was going to use this type of a book with my Neo 2s, that's how you turn your Neo 2s into watercolor. You may even have one of these somewhere around the house that you can use, Joycey. Yay, May. Hi, Ashley. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's the same. Well, I know you have more than me, and I have enough to probably work until then, Eileen, so I can imagine. I have one on painting landscapes and watercolor that I absolutely must start using. Maybe I'll go get it and share it with you guys. It's right over on the shelf. Now that I can get to my shelves and stuff because my room is half decently, well, except for the stuff I need to clear through. Okay. So that's how I would use it, Joycey, but yeah. Or you could do what Eileen just said. Hi, Sophia. Yeah, I will show it, Debbie. It's a great book, actually. So ombre. And now here's your skills. So here's practical exercises on using the ombre effect. So that's what I like about this book. It shows you the technique, gives you lots of practice on the technique. And then she gives you practical applications on how to use that technique. So that's what I really love about this book. Oh, look, wouldn't Z love that? Look, that is so Z. It looks like a underwater globe. Yes, Joycey, but you don't have to. Oh, when you were slicing that Neo too, I was like, oh, no, that's way too much, Joycey. You do not need that much to make your watercolor. Ugh, that was way too much. I was crying that day, Joycey. Now this is showing blooms, how to get blooms. And this is one where, and I'm sure it's probably in the tip. I haven't read through this at all. Using blooms and etc. is going to definitely be different depending on the paint and the paper. Certain papers you're going to get lots of bloom, but especially the paints. So this is something that's kind of would be a good, I really need to work on this to go through my paints, and not just the paint. It's not just like M Graham are going to bloom more than Shin Han. Within my M Graham, certain colors are going to bloom more than other colors. And the amount of water you use is going to make them bloom more or less. All right. The paper, certain papers, you're going to get way more bloom if you use Yupo paper than if you're using watercolor paper. Okay. And if you use mixed media paper, you're going to get even less bloom because it absorbs too quickly, like in cardstock and like mixed media paper. It absorbs way too quickly for you to really work and get a bloom like you may want. So. Hi, BJ. Nice to see you. I'm just going through a book here. All right, so there's lots of space to practice blooms. And then now they give you ways to use those bloom practical ways, situations where you would use that technique. And now they're going through, showing you how to do a flat wash. All right. So, I mean, they do everything. Then taking those skills and using a flat wash. Okay. Lifting techniques. Okay. You have to get all these things is important to do to get to know your paints, because you won't get effects you want unless you know your paints. And that's why I wanted to do 2 years of, doing watercolor and not back and forth to acrylic and my art journaling, because I wanted to learn my paints. I wanted to build some skills that wouldn't disappear with me going back and forth to acrylic, because I like using the classic style watercolor. Not that there's anything wrong with the mixed media style, which a lot of you guys do, but that's not what I want to do. All right. So it's an amazing, oh, look at that cute little hedgehog. Haha. That's cute. What's this? Layering. Layering, also known as glazing. And freeform experiments. So these are kind of things that you would use. Kind of putting everything together and... All right, so that's that book. Okay, let me get up and go get my painting, water, and landscapes book. One moment, please. This is one that Kathy Arbor made me get. Sorry, I just need to make sure that my knees will hold me when I stand up. I just kicked my water bottle. All right, I'm over on the other side of my room. Let me find it. Okay, let me throw these on the floor. Sorry about that. Hope it wasn't too loud. I should have warned you. Okay. So I've got 3 books here. So this is Joe Dowden. He is quite famous, apparently, for painting. I believe he's from the UK. Painting water. Okay, Ashley, no worries. So when I ordered first, this one was, when I got these, probably 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago. This one is a hardcover, and it was quite expensive on Amazon Canada. So I was like, oh, I just can't put out that much money. At the time, there were some things going on and I couldn't afford it at the time. So I bought this smaller paperback version of it. So Joe Francis Dowden. All right. And this is a handbook. So it's kind of some of his techniques in a smaller, I will have to use a magnifier to do it, to do this, to read the print. But it's actually small enough for me to, I have so many things I need to scan. I'm going to scan this book and turn it into a PDF so that I can read it on my own, because it is small enough for me to put the whole double this on my scanner. Oh, good, Sophia. That'll be wonderful. That will really strengthen her core and her back muscles. Yeah. It's frozen. Oh, no. So he goes through the products, your media, brushes. All right. And then he gives you samples. Shows you how to sketch it out. Talks about composition. Oh, that's nice, Sophia. So they can keep a good eye on her to make sure she does everything with proper technique. And yeah, nice. All right. Using color. Deep water. Okay, because obviously there's going to be a difference if you're painting deep water than if you're painting shallow water. So there's techniques, there's step outs, talking about color and glazing. Okay. So if you do a search on YouTube, you can find some YouTube videos, I believe. I also found some classes on Artist Network TV that he did. So now there's an example. See, Bren, what I was talking about? To get the glow, he started with some lemon yellow and then some warm yellow, then adding the green on top. You have this book, BJ? And then he adds adding the water, showing you the strokes. I do okay with my water, but I want to get better. I'm looking to get more realistic because I like doing realism. But look at that. This is a painting. This is his painting. Look at that. It's just incredible. Incredible the look he gets. There's the original. There's his painting. Just unbelievable. That's his painting. Who is this artist? It's Joe Dowden. Joe Francis Dowden. If you put in Joe Dowden, it will come up, but he is Joe Francis Dowden in a lot of his stuff. So, and now doing shallow water. So in this section, he's talking about doing shallow water so that you see, you know, the bottom. Yeah, Eileen, just like some that you buy aren't my style, this is definitely not your style. You prefer to do abstract freeform stuff. So this is actually like a handbook cut down version of this. Complete guide to painting water in watercolor. So some of the stuff is the same in this book. It's hardcover, it's larger print. I was glad when I was finally able to afford this. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get the larger one because it includes more paintings. Just more detailed information. So it's yeah, incredible. He talks about rocks as well in this one. I could see Lena really working through this one too. Yeah, Sophia, that's where I found him on Artist Network TV. Yep. I became a member and downloaded a lot of his videos through them. So yeah, I have them. Don't you worry. But I need to go back and work through them and work through this book again. Yeah, at Artist Network TV. Yeah. Yeah. This guy is like, I think the top artist I've ever seen in painting water and reflections. Well, Eileen, I have a little bit because I have watched I've watched his videos. So anytime I've painted water in my journals and stuff, he's the only one I've ever looked at that actually did tutorials on painting water. So his ideas on painting reflections and stuff have, I haven't specifically worked through, his step outs, but through watching his videos, he has helped me, obviously. Oh, yeah. Right, Sophia. So, I mean, look at that. It's just like incredible. I don't know if I could ever do figures like him, but hey, can only practice, right? Look at that. That's just incredible. Sophia, yeah. Like Sophia, but Sophia. I think I'm saying it right. Am I, Sophia? Am I saying it correctly? I had a really rough winter, fall and winter this year, as far as my, I don't want to say mental health, but as far as my get up and go and whatever goes, there was, you know, a lot of worrying about mom and, you know, my older sister, and just because she's in just as much or more pain than me, but with her, it's her back. With me, it's my knees and my legs. And so I just decided I didn't do as much painting at all as I did last year, the past year, 18, I mean. If I hadn't have streamed the days I streamed, I probably wouldn't have done any art. But this year, I have to do art every day. I'm going to do something. So whether I stream or not, I'm going to do something. And this is just one of those books that not only is it good for learning techniques, it's, oh my gosh, eye candy. It's like, oh, and it's printed very well. Like, look, Lena, this is so you. Look at that. That is so you. With those yummy browns and rusts and then the blue. See how he takes, I mean, there you go with your composition, right? You have your browny, orangey browns, and then you have your blue boat. So there's your complementary color scheme, right? Judy. Oh, exactly, Debbie. And that's what's important. Okay, so here he's doing his sky, and he uses the lemon yellow to get that glow on his sun, but then he adds the warm over top. Ooh, so I do this one to see what colors he uses to get the sunset or sunrise, whichever it is. Haha. This is going to be one of my, hold on. I need a Post-it note. It's going to be one of my first just because of the colors in the sky. Well, that's true, Vaughn. So even watching, yeah. Eileen, you behave now. Oh, good idea. Okay, hold on. Good idea, Debbie. Good idea. I'll do it in red Sharpie. Don't want to do it right on the... I don't know why my red Sharpie brush pen is there, but and there's the mountain. There's mountains. Nice. Lovely. And then the lake. There's his painting. Look at that. Oh, okay. I'm just going to stick another one in there because I want to paint that. Lake. I'll know to go back to see all the step outs, but yeah, definitely want to paint that lake. Sophia, that's funny. I see his and he inspires me so much that I want to paint every single one of his. Ugh. Still water. Autumn River, still water. See? Look how many, he does so many step outs. It's wonderful. It's definitely worth every penny. I'm glad I had it in my wish list for quite a while until I was able to, once my insurance company stopped messing around with my, you know what it's like. Every 2 years, they mess around and say, oh, you have to reapply for your long-term disability. It's like, yeah, I suddenly got all better. Right. Yeah, Anna Victoria Calderon. Yeah. I have a couple of other watercolor ones that like watercolor a day and stuff, and I'll look at them and read them and stuff, but I don't think I'm ever gonna, I want to stick to my realistic watercoloring. Like when I do my art journaling, I won't be using watercolor. A sparkling sea. So here's how to paint a sparkling sea. So sometimes my seas turn out okay, sometimes not so great. So I could always use help with that. And there's the painting. Yeah. Right, Debbie? Just so amazing. Yeah, I can definitely see you using this for when you do your landscapes, Debbie, because you kind of do everything. You do your realistic landscapes, but then you also do your kind of illustrative type of work and your folk art type. Like, you know, like I guess I would consider your bunny and your rooster kind of like folk art style, stylistic mixed media. He's got masking fluid on his sail, be the sailboat. Ew, and then he paints the sails. Oh, that's stunning. Stunning. That kind of looks like that Italian red. I'll have to read and see what color it is, but that's what it looks like. It looks like that Italian red kind of terracotta along with the blue. Ooh, that is stunning. Let's see where his... I mean, look how many step outs he does. It's incredible. Some books do like 3 or 4 step outs and you're supposed to get the whole painting. Yeah, whimsical folk art. Yeah. Lena, are you listening, Lena? Lena, are you listening? Do not be intimidated by realism. You are such an amazing artist. When I was watching you New Year's Eve, none of us would have ever imagined that you have been painting for like less than a year, or maybe a year or less than a year. You took that piece of paper, it went swoosh, 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 and all of a sudden these 2 figures kissing were like just suddenly there on the paper. It was absolutely incredible how you put down your pigment. And no, it was not realism in the way this was realism, but that stylistic style is still like incredible, that work you did. So don't say you're intimidated, because you have talent, girl. You have talent with your drawing, your painting, incredible natural talent. There is his finished painting. Oh my gosh, Lena. Yeah, that was my DJ voice, Lena. Anyway. A what pool? Oh, Arabian pool. Oh, this is a good one for rocks. This is a good one for painting rocks. Oh, yes, Lena can dance too. All his works look like photograph, like just. Oh. When I watched his videos on Artist Network TV, I was like, yeah, I want to learn to paint landscapes. I want to learn to paint like him. I love reflections. And then I saw on Artist Network TV. I'm gonna have to look up the name and tweet it. But there was this artist that did a painting of these glass vases and jugs, and it was like a 2.5 hour video or whatever. And when I saw her painting that, I was like, yeah, I want to learn how to paint glass. And that was what inspired me to start like painting glass. And it was funny because when I started doing it, I was like, oh, look at that. Oh, it looks like a photograph. That's his painting. I definitely do, Debbie. The one big project I have left in here that I'm going to, I have to call this weekend my cleaner. My desk area, I have to get rid of my hutch that I have here. And I have a couple of very narrow bookshelves that I'm here instead of this hutch, because my hutch is wide, but it also goes very low down to my desk. So it takes up so much desk space. It wastes my whole desk, this one whole side of my desk area. So, yeah, I'll definitely be keeping this book close to me. And there's this picture. Says, Joe Francis Dowden's books have been published globally. He has staged numerous one-man exhibitions all over the UK, and his paintings are in collections around the world. He's internationally recognized, excuse me, for his treatment of landscape and light and his observation of water. So, I show you how to make water look wet and how to paint it in its many forms. Sorry. Rippled, reflective, deep, dappled, puddled, fast running, and sparkling with light. Use the principles I show you, and with them you may be able to paint not only water, but just about anything else. So, definitely worth every penny I paid for it. So I'm excited. I'm excited about my watercoloring again. So my plan this year is I'm going to finish early. So I don't know if Debbie wants to. Did anyone hear from Jen whether she's streaming tonight or not? But my plan for this year, because I do want to get back into my art journaling, My plan this year is to do, I'm going to call Thursdays Transparent Thursdays. So it's going to be my watercolor day on Thursdays. And then on Mondays are going to be Mixed Media Mondays. So I'm going to do Mixed Media Mondays and Transparent Thursdays. So on Mondays, I'll be doing art journaling, jelly plating, whatever I, non-watercolor. So I'm going to try and start going back and forth and seeing what happens with that for my streams. All right. So yeah, I know, right, Kathy? Exactly. So, oh yeah, Sophia, that's never my plan to keep my art space pristine. This is the only clear space on my desk, and this is a 12 by 16 wooden. It's a wooden canvas, but it works perfectly over my little. This is a turntable that is sold for your light box, so you can sit your light box on it and work. But this just has like 1x1s on the back. It's those wooden canvases from the dollar store. And instead of using it as a canvas, sits perfectly over my, well, when I get it sitting in the right spot, something's in its way. There we go. It gives me like an art desk. So it gives me just a nut, but just a perfect angle for watercoloring and working on, so I can see my work better than trying to work flat. So thanks everyone for coming. Thanks, Joycey. Love you too. Love all of you. So glad we had such a wonderful attendance at the streamathon. Oh my gosh. Now I expected Dee Dee to have, because Dee Dee often has over 200 at her morning streams. So it was expected for Dee Dee to have, but so many followed along and came. Everyone except for Joycey had over 100 people at their stream all day long. And Joycey had over 35 for her whole stream. Last year, Sarah O in California, she did our last stream. She had, I think, 6 most of the time. She had 6 at her stream last year. So we really upped it up, amped it up this year. And hopefully some of those will, continue to come to our other streams, the rest of our streams as well. So see you all later. Oh no, B3. Oh. Streamathon. Janet. Cheese, Janet. Ah.